Alright, hello gamers. This is my second HSR video. I wanted to make something a lot sooner than the time that it took me to make this, but I've been really busy and I kind of had no ideas, but I came up with something, and as you can see very clearly, it is a tier list. Wow, opinions, ooh, fun, exciting. Anyways, it's mostly my own experience and the characters that I have used so far. So this tier list does not mean my opinion on the meta or the viability or whatever. This is just my experience 100 hours in with the characters that I have used. So something that I want to say right off the bat is that for the Trailblazer, I would put them like over here and over here. So the reason for this is that obviously the Trailblazer has three forms: the physical one, the fire one, and the imaginary one. So the physical one is the one that I put here. This one sucks. The physical Trailblazer is not only very boring, but also very weak. It felt like I replaced her very, very quickly. Meanwhile, the fire Trailblazer and the imaginary Trailblazer, I would say both are extremely important characters to the content that I have done so far. So obviously the fire Trailblazer has gotten a little worse over time, but it's undeniable that I absolutely had to use it if I wanted to get through most of the content that I did. This is because not only is it basically my only fire unit, but also because it helped so much to keep my team alive. So I would definitely put the fire MC like here at A because of how useful and necessary they were. And then the imaginary one simply because it's a really good like damage buffer, and it's also very fun to use. Anyways, next is like Dunhang. I would just put him in D. He's just single target, doesn't do much damage, very boring. Same with like Yanqing, but Yanqing is better than Dunhang, so I'm just gonna put him here. This is the character that I rolled on like the special banner at the start, and it's safe to say that I rolled the worst out of the 7 options, which was very, very sad. Then I have Serval, which I'll put like here, right, as well as Yanqing. Serval is really fun. She's really fun to use, and for very specific things, she's very good. However, those very specific things don't come up very often, so I put her here. Something I will say is that for the Sunday fight in Penacony, I'm sorry if I spoil that for anybody, I was struggling a lot with that fight until I leveled up Serval, and then the fight was immediately like super easy. So I think Serval was very clutch for that. Then I have Shui. I really, really like Shui. Shui, I got her pretty early on. At the very start, she didn't feel very good because I didn't really understand how break worked. However, I've been using her lately, especially for simulated universe, and she has been incredibly important for like simulated universe and a couple of other things. And she's also very fun, so I really like her. The fact that she can break anybody regardless of weakness, I think is really cool. Tingyun I would put here as well. I was lucky to roll a Tingyun. She's very good. However, she just feels like a damage buffer. Definitely any team that I put her in is suddenly a better team, which is really nice. However, she is very like straightforward. I wouldn't say she's like S tier, like absolutely necessary or whatever. But she's good. Then I have Sampo. I think Sampo is very similar to Serval in that he is very useful for very specific things. However, those things I feel like come up more often than Serval. I think there's like a couple of like key enemies that have wind weakness, and he's my only like wind damage dealer. And the break that he does with his skill when it's just a single target is really, really nice. The damage over time is also like kind of nice. Sometimes you think you're dead, but then the enemy like just dies, and that's kind of cool. Then I have Pella. I'm gonna put Pella here. I know she's really good and meta and shit, But right now she does not feel very impactful. I would say every other damage deal, like damage buffer that I have right now, that I use actively right now, does a better job than Pela. However, I still use her. She's still like updated with my characters. Ratio, this might be like a hot take, maybe not. I think Ratio has a very weak early game. I know he's like a 5-star, and I know he's like a high tier character, like later down the line. However, I don't think there have been that many situations where Ratio was the key component that got me the victory. I think Shui has had that role a lot more often. And then I have Chinchue. I'm actually gonna put Chinchue above Ratio, because Chinchue for the longest time was my strongest damage dealer, like straight up. The characters out of all the characters that I had, she was doing the most damage, and so I used her a ton. Obviously that changed now, but I still have my eyes on her. I think she's super fun, and I think she's really strong. Lynx, I'm gonna put Lynx like here, I guess. And then I'm gonna put Natasha here. So the thing about these two is that they're both healers, and the thing about healers is that you absolutely need a healer. Like, definitely, you absolutely need it. And you get Natasha very early, so she's super clutch, she's super like necessary, you will use her a lot. However, as soon as I got Lynx, I was like, wait, this is Natasha but better, like in every single way. So I really like Lynx. I think she's great. She has definitely carried me up a ton, especially with her like cleanses. March 7th, I've used her very little. She feels kind of disappointing to use. I know her shield can be a little clutch with like the aggro thing, and then her freezes, but like, I don't think she's that useful. Robin, now this is probably my only S tier character, from my experience. I rolled for Robin kind of spontaneously because I realized that I needed more like damage buffers in my roster. However, her ult is far from just being a damage buff. Her ult absolutely demolishes early game. I don't think people know this, but her damage from her ult early game does a lot more damage than any DPS you might have. It's insane. She does more damage than Shrey, Ratio, whatever, as long as you're proccing her thing like enough. And like this combo is really like pretty useful. Really good. They go together really well. But Robin herself is the one doing the damage, so I think it's a little unfair to say that Ratio is the one helping there. And then I have Bronya. I would equate these two quite a bit. So obviously Bronya is better if you have like a really strong character that you want to use like attack more often, and then Ting Yun is better for when you just want to get as many ults off as possible. So I would equate these two to be very similar. However, I do think Bronya has a much worse early game. Correct me if I'm wrong. However, Ting Yun has felt a lot better in the early game. However, I've gotten Boot Heal recently. I actually did roll for him, and he's so fun. He's so fun, he's so strong, he does so much damage, and he goes so well with Bronya. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy how well they go together. So that's why I put her here. Otherwise, if I hadn't pulled for Boot Heal, my opinion of her would be like that she would be like here. Speaking of Boot Heal, he is a single target. He doesn't care about weaknesses, which is great. He's clutch, does a ton of damage, is very easy to scale up, and that's great. However, unironically, for the content that I've done so far, I think these two are extremely similar, because I think Shui, for things like Simulated Universe, scales a lot better with all the blessings and stuff. And so I think Shui has been like more useful than Boot Heal for me so far. However, Boot Heal by himself is definitely a way stronger character. So I'm gonna put him like a little above her. Then I have Herda. Herda is actually like insanely good. Herda is the character that made me change my opinion of the game. I think she's very fun to use, and I think she is just really strong. Like, it's weird how strong she is. For anything that's AoE, she's the goat. She's the freaking goat, and you get her eidolons for free from doing a bunch of simulated universe, which is great. She's super strong. I like her a lot. I've used her. She's probably the damage dealer that I've used the most so far, and there's definitely a ton of fight that I don't think I would have been able to clear without her. So she goes on S tier right next to Robin. I think these two are my most important characters so far, and I definitely don't think I would have gotten past certain fights if I didn't have them specifically. However, I think every character that I've used so far has had a role, like at some point, and at some point they were my best option. And I think that's interesting. It really feels like every character has a purpose. It really feels like every character helps your account. And I'm really excited to just have more characters in my account. There's so many 4 stars that I'm excited to get. There's 4 stars that I am excited to get. That's how like interesting the balancing is in this game. There's other characters that I haven't used, like Asta, Arlan, Hook, Hanya, Misha, Luca. I think there's one more character that I have, but I haven't used. Yukong, there it is. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these 7 characters I have in my account. However, I have not used them. I do think out of all of these, I should have used Asta, because as you can see, if you are experienced with the game, you can tell that in this entire list, there is only one fire unit, and that's the Fire Trailblazer. And that has been a problem for me, and I think Asta would have been clutch, but I didn't level her up. But yeah, the rest, I just don't see an opportunity to use them. Maybe Misha for like single-threaded ice stuff would be maybe better than Herda, but I haven't had the need to use him, so I haven't leveled him up. Anyways, that's my opinions on the characters that I have used so far. And like I said, I'm very excited to get more characters, and I might update this in the future when I inevitably roll for more characters. So yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully I can make another video not a week after this one, because, you know, I was a little busy and whatever, but I do want to make some more stuff. There's a lot of thoughts in my little brain that want to just jump out, so maybe I'll do some more. Anyways, that's it. Peace.